When you first install VMware Workstation 8, it's going to basically set up with the way VMware decided that things should be. And while that's usually good, there's some things that you can change here, and I just want to bring these to your attention before we get started using this. And you'll notice when you first open Workstation, you're going to come up to this page here. And for those of you who have used this before, you'll notice that there's a lot of new things out here. It's very slick looking. It's a lot cleaner looking than it was before. And right here is what we want to concentrate on in this video, and that is setting workstation preferences. You're not stuck with the way it is, and so if you click on this, notice it's going to bring up this window, and notice the different areas that you can work with this. Notice this is where all my virtual machines are going to go. I can change this if I would like. But if you ever wonder, wait a minute, where's all my files, my VMDKs and so forth? Right there is where they are. So just come into Preferences, hit Workspace, you'll see them. Notice on the virtual machines themselves, I have some options here. I can show arrow peak thumbnails on open tabs, and I can determine what my default hardware compatibility is, and so I can change that if I would like. And then seconds between powering on multiple VMs. Now this is a change from previous versions, and they moved this out here into Preferences. Some people are already liking it, some people are already complaining about it, but we'll see this later that we've lost the concept of teams in this version, but we've got a better idea by using folders. You'll see it later. But if I've got multiple machines and I just want to hit one button, start them all at once, this is where I'm going to change the number of seconds between opening multiple VMs. And if you'll notice there, the default was 10. I can tell it where to save my screenshots. Then on input, notice I can work with keyboard and mouse. The cursor, I can change how this is working. Hotkeys, I can set hotkeys if I would like. The display, pretty straightforward. Auto fit the window, auto fit the guest. I can determine what full screen means, how it behaves, and on different machines, different displays, different people, you may want this differently. Notice here is the Unity hotkey, and then updates. This is kind of the big one here for a lot of people, and especially on VMware Tools. Now, we haven't talked about VMware Tools a whole lot to this point in the course, but VMware Tools gives all the driver functionalities to a virtual machine, and this is what really makes it the magic happen for the virtual machine. And from time to time they're constantly upgrading functionalities here, and there will be a new version of VMware Tools out there. So this is going to come down to whether you're a control freak like me or not. You can have this thing automatically update VMware Tools on a virtual machine, and you may want to turn that off and say no, let me check it every once in a while and look at it, and let me stay out there in the forums and so forth in the internet and make sure that everything's going smooth with these. And so notice we can take care of software updates on Workstation itself, and then we can provide feedback. We can choose to provide feedback automatically. Shared VMs, just notice here that shared VMs are enabled by default. If you want to disable it, you need to come in here to Preferences. This is where you'll turn it off. We'll talk about sharing a little bit later on in the course. Memory, we can determine how much host RAM should the system be able to reserve for all running virtual machines. Okay, and so we're basically determining how much memory. Notice how much should the system allocate memory for virtual machines. We can allow some machine memory to be swapped. Notice what this is saying here. Swapping virtual machine memory will let us run more virtual machines, but if you got 2 or 3 machines that start doing a tug of war on memory, you can have problems there. We can set priorities out here on how snapshots are done. We can also work with devices, and we can disable auto run on the host when a VM is running, so that when we put a CD in that we want to use an ISO or some sort of application off of, we'll make sure that we can disable auto run on the host so that our virtual machine gets it. So these are the preferences you have out there. A lot of things going on. I would strongly suggest, well worth your time, to just sit and go through some of these, read and see what you can do, because from time to time you're going to think, man, I wish it wouldn't do this. What else? I wish I could change this. And Preferences is where you're going to do that. And notice it's right here, right on the main page of the Workstation Administrative Tool when you first open it up. So that's how to get to your Workstation preferences. And there are some changes. If you've been working in prior versions, you especially need to go look at this, because there have been some fairly significant changes in where things are and how they're controlled.